Ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard of the Tower of Power, that wonderful Sega Genesis, in which you can plug in a 32X into that Sega Genesis. You plug the Sega CD with all that, and you get your Tower of Power. Well, today I want to unveil my own Tower of Power for you. In case you didn't know, the Retrode2 device is one that you can use to go ahead and dump your own Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo ROMs, and this allows you to have your own games for your own devices. It also allows you to save your own save states. So, for example, if you had a bunch of creative players that you've made throughout the years playing Madden or NBA Live, or heck, even something like Sonic 3, you have your save file in which you've got all the Chaos Emeralds. You don't want to have to play through the whole game again and use a Game Genie and all that. You can download those and you can load those save files. So pretty cool device. I actually use an adapter for this Retro device also. They make adapters for different video game systems. So for example, I used one that allowed me to download my Pokemon Yellow. I was able to save my Pikachu. It's a really cool thing, and I can go back and play that game, or I can say let my kids play through that game, and I can rest assured that my save file has been preserved, even for a game that started way back in basically 2000. And that's a pretty cool thing about a device like a Retro. But today, what I want to show you guys is how you can also use this device to download ROMs or rip ROMs that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So, for example, the Retro itself, you can buy on the internet. There's an adapter for Sega Master System games. So that's available. It is, sometimes it's out of print, though. It's hard to get. And meanwhile, I've also was aware of on the internet, there's an adapter for Hyperkin's device, the Retron 5, where you have a 3-in-1 adapter for that, for the Game Gear, the Sega Master System, and the Sega card. Other YouTubers have used this device to basically use this as a power-based converter, so they can play Master System games successfully on a Sega Genesis 2, which is something that there really wasn't. That it usually only worked for the Sega Genesis 1, the power-based converter. So having this device allowed you to successfully play Master System games on a Genesis 2, which is a pretty cool thing. But it got me thinking, well, can I use this Retro and use this device to help me get Game Gear ROMs? When you try to use the device with an actual Genesis, it doesn't quite work with Game Gear games. The colors are all wrong because the Game Gear had a more advanced color template than the Genesis itself. Also, the start button was mapped differently on a Game Gear versus a Master System game, so the games couldn't even, in many respects, you couldn't even press start. But all I want to do today is, could I use this, plug it into this, and can I get Game Gear ROMs out of it? So I want to show you, I have this Japanese version of Pengo that I would like to be playing. So I'm going to plug this in here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my Retrode 2. And we're going to take a look and see if I can find something here. Let's see, does this work? Let's just open. Let's take a look and see what I can see. There's the ROM, all 32 kilobytes of glory. What's interesting, though, is if you see this, it looks like a Sega Master System game. I'll show you what the issue is with this. Let's just throw up the old keg of fusion. We're going to load a Master System ROM here, and I'm going to search for it. Let's just go ahead and look at the Retro itself. There it is. I'm going to open it up. And just as it looks, as you can see, the color template is all wrong. The color template is all wrong. I can't even start the game. I can't even get it going. Does not map, does not work. But here's where the trick happens. And this is actually what would happen if you put this into a regular Genesis. It would look like this. It would not work in real life. But what we can do, we can go back. And what I'm going to do, so we're going to go to that file that the Retro has. Here's my Master System game. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to place this. Let's just paste it on the desktop. Why not? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rename this file. I'm going to rename it. All I'm going to do is change the extension from SMS, which is for Sega Master System, to GG for Game Gear. Yes, I know it might become unstable or usable, whatever. That's fine. And I'm going to go and let's go back to where I was before. We're going to go ahead and load up my old Kega Fusion emulator. I'm going to load a Game Gear ROM. So I put this on the desktop. Let's go to the desktop. Whoop, there we go. Load it up. It even has a little fun background to it. And look, lo and behold, we have a successful Game Gear game. Loaded up, rocking and rolling. Now I can go squash the snow bees, get those diamond blocks, all that good stuff. And now I have a successful dump of my game Pingo. Pretty cool stuff there. So again, if you want to get the full ultimate power of your device, if you happen to have a Retro 2, you can make your own Tower of Power with the Retron 5 3-in-1 adapter. This is not what this device is used for. It's basically for playing Game Gear games, Master System games, even Sega card games on a Retron 5 made by Hyperkin, but I've successfully used this device to dump my own Game Gear ROMs so I can play them on another device. I don't have to play them on my gigantic old Game Gear, which I could, but in case I want to play them on something that I don't have to get recapped, waste all those AA batteries, I can use them on an emulator, even on my iPhone. So that's a pretty cool thing about devices like this. All right, that's it for me for today. I'll have more information later. This has been Beefy Bites. Take care.